afternoon. So I graduated last weekend from the University of Pennsylvania with a master's in applied positive psychology. And as part of our program, we had to write our meaning story. And mine began with all of you. So I thought I'd share it with you now. And I hope I can make it through without too many tears. Whew. So you are here for a reason. On December 7th, 1985, I excitedly loaded into the Ford Bronco with my best friend Sarah and her father to set out for the sledding party at the Kalamazoo Nature Center. 1 mile from our destination, Sarah and I took off our seatbelts to put on our snow clothes so we'd be ready for the fun. We never made it to the party. We hit a patch of black ice and swerved into the other lane, and just at that moment, another car hit the ice and broadsided us. Sarah and I were ejected through the side of the Bronco. The paramedics, Gus and Paul, were dispatched to an accident with 3 adults and 1 child. They arrived and immediately started treating injuries, stabilizing the 4 patients for their ride to their emergency room. Typically on the scene of an accident, Gus and Paul were no nonsense. Treat, load, and go. But something made Gus stop. He noticed a small boot in the middle of the road and had a gut feeling they were missing something. He looked at Paul, pointed to the boot, and Paul said, "Go." Gus raced down the icy road and found me face down in a culvert. After being thrown from the car, my body slid on the ice for close to 1/8 of a mile. Gus immediately knew I was severely injured. Without many words, Gus and Paul got to work. Once I was loaded in the ambulance, they called ahead to Bronson to tell them they were on their way with a mortally injured 9-year-old. Less than 1% of the people in my condition make it to the hospital. But with Gus and Paul's excellent care, I did. I was met at the door by the trauma team and was immediately rushed into surgery. The surgeons quickly discovered that I had several large lacerations on my liver, my spleen, my gallbladder, and a tear in my vena cava and a blood clot in my brain. The bleeding was so intense that when they tried to repair the damage to my organs, my blood pressure would drop and I would go into shock. The surgeon spent over 6 hours working on my small body, giving me over 25 units of blood, 20 units of platelets, 10 units of plasma, and in addition, they recycled 17 units of my blood through the machine called the Hemocell Saver, which was used for the very first time that day. In order to repair my organs, the surgical team had to clamp off my aorta, effectively shutting off the blood supply below my chest. There was a risk in this, in that it could paralyze me if the blood were clamped off for 1 second too long. Yet it was the only way they could clear the field for surgery. After they mended the dissected veins and the lacerations and removed the organs that were too damaged to be saved, I was still bleeding. Blood was oozing from the surface of my organs due to abrasion, without a way to stop it. The bleeding was minimized as best as possible, a clotting factor was given, and Dr. Clift said, "We've done all that we can. We need to close her and hope that the bleeding stops." I left the operating room in critical condition and was taken to the pediatric ICU. I had survived the surgery, but as Dr. Cliff said, the ICU care was every bit as difficult as the surgery. He credits the ICU staff for doing an incredible job containing the blood loss and keeping everything just perfect so that I could survive without infection. Over the next weeks, I got a little stronger every day, and it was the tremendous amount of love that I felt from near and far that carried me through. The love of my parents, of my brother, extended family and friends, the surgeons, the paramedics, the nursing staff. That love was the key ingredient in my survival. The generosity of spirit, time, and talent was immeasurable. The tidal wave of love that I felt during my recovery is what I'll remember for all my days. I beat the odds. I'm here for a reason. And now I believe that I survived so that I can give that love back to the world every single day. The words "thank you" will never be enough to encompass my gratitude for each and every one of you. So you might be wondering what I've been doing since that fateful day. I can say I am healthy and well and have been so fortunate to live a really wonderfully full life. I'll give you a little bit of an overview. I went to the University of Colorado, where I majored in biology and photography and was the captain of the freestyle ski team. After graduation, I went on to Vail Ski Patrol for 3 years, using my own emergency medical skills to help those hurt on the mountain. I then moved into the field of pharmaceutical sales and worked for Pfizer for 5 years. And then after that, I launched my professional photography business that I ran for over a decade, photographing weddings and portraits throughout Colorado and beyond. In the past 4 years, I've shifted gears as I've become very interested in the mental health and well-being of our youth and our community. I started volunteering at many organizations and within the school district, and I worked myself into a job as the Imagine Zero Coalition Coordinator for the Alliance of Suicide Prevention. And most recently, I've graduated with my master's in applied positive psychology from Penn. As for my health, I'm so grateful. Due to your tremendous work putting me back together, I've been able to run 4 marathons. I'm an avid skier, mountain biker, love yoga and Pilates. I'm also a mom to 2 amazing girls. Bryn is 13 and Heidi is 9. And now I'm doing everything that I can to keep up with them. One of the greatest gifts I've had over the years is keeping in touch with my paramedics, Paul and Gus. Sadly, Paul passed away a few years ago, but Gus and I are still in communication regularly. He's been out to visit Colorado twice, once in 2010 and once in 2015, and we're sure hoping for another visit soon. I was also so fortunate to reconnect with Dr. Clift before his untimely passing. I had lost touch with him after he moved out of Kalamazoo. Yet on the 30th anniversary of the car accident, I was able to track him down due to his unique name and the internet. So I found him in Florida. That day, I sent flowers to his office and a fax. This fax contained my old newspaper article, some recent photos of my family, and a handwritten note that said, "Dr. Clift, you're still my hero." I was told that his office was abuzz in delight, learning of this story and his amazing efforts that saved my life that day. I reconnected via email with him that evening, and he mentioned, "Please let me know if you're ever in Florida." And I said, "Great news, we're coming for spring break." So Dr. Clifford and I, and with his beautiful wife, Beth, were able to meet in person. During our wonderful visit, he kept looking at me and asking, "Are you okay? Like, really okay? Does everything work?" And I was able to look at him and say, "I am okay, like more than okay." So I just want you all to know that due to your tremendous care, I'm here today. I am okay, and I'm eternally grateful. This endowment is just one small way we can show our gratitude and offer our support to the staff at Bronson, who continue to save lives every day. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you did for me and all that you do day in and day out for the patients who are in your care. You're truly lifesavers. Thank you.